Happy 2020 College Service Day! Welcome back, not just to a new semester, a new year, but a new decade. That's exciting. So we have a tight program today. We have lots of information that we want to share with you. We're going to hear from some very dynamic speakers and presenters to share information about Hudson County Community College and the community that we all serve. To get started, we're going to hear from someone very special, one of our students here at Hudson. I'm going to give a welcome, but before I do that, I just wanted to take a moment to thank a few key departments for some of the behind-the-scenes work that without them we wouldn't be able to do this. So I want to be able to thank, first and foremost, Communications Department. Answering all the phone calls and emails. I want to thank the IT department for all their setup. I want to thank Flick and the Culinary Conference Center for all their help. And I want to thank our facilities maintenance crew for making sure we all have chairs to sit in. So thank you. And now, without further ado, I'm going to call up one of our students, a recent graduate just a month ago, Mr. Enes Anasarawi.
Thanks, Ms. Williams. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
So, in 2014, I was working in my home country, Morocco, on developing a startup business that offers web development and computer services. Our small business wasn't going well. We did not make money, and I was not happy with what I did. In the meantime, the dream to come to this country kept growing inside me day after day. I always loved the United States, and I always want to be here. However, my family could not afford the money necessary for me to send me here. Then, I heard about an American visa program. It is called the Diversity Visa Program. This program makes up to 50,000 immigrant visas available annually, drawn from random selection among 20 million eligible entries of individuals around the world who are from countries with low rates of immigration to the United States. The chance of winning this visa is so slim. It is almost 0.75% chance of winning it, 0.75%. But I consider myself a lucky guy. I won the visa, and here I am. So I came here in 2016 by myself. I have no family. I didn't know anyone, and English was not my first language, neither second nor third. It is my fourth language now. I came here with the only dream to get a degree on a discipline that I like and enjoy studying. When I arrived here, I started working in restaurants and stores as a dishwasher and cook lines. I worked day and night, and I did all kinds of jobs and tasks to support myself. However, the dream to get that degree was my priority. And here again, where I felt I am lucky. I found out about Hudson County Community College from a roommate. I got enrolled as a student at HCCC because it was more convenient, affordable, and close to where I live. My name is Enes Anasarawi, and I'm a recent graduate, and I'm going to talk about some of my experiences at HCCC. During my 2 years at the college, I was involved in many activities and leadership positions, but the one that had an impact on me was the Goldman Sachs College Collaborative Program. That program sharpened my soft skills and taught me how to be professional. For that, I want to thank Professor Peter Conrad and the advisor Victoria Marino for their encouragement and guidance through the program. In addition, as a member at first place and later as a VP of scholarships for Beta Alpha Phi, the HCC's chapter of PTK, I learned through all volunteering activities and interaction with PTK officers, PTK members, and with our PTK advisor, Professor Theodore Lai, that humans have a great potential when they work together, and how empowering it is to realize how much an act of sharing, kindness, and giving through PTK activities can change the life of others in our college and community in a positive way. Professor Theodore Lai, you're an amazing advisor. Thank you. Moreover, as a STEM Club president, I had the chance to work on many cool and amazing projects. Myself and my team, we have been able to build the first ever prototype greenhouse for our college. Our prototype greenhouse is aquaponic that uses waterfish to nurture the scallions via pipe system. Along with the scallion, the prototype greenhouse also contains 2 bins of mushroom logs, and each bin has a robotic watering system. The prototype greenhouse was created to expand on the food pantry and assist students with fresh, healthier options like mushrooms. In addition, we have been able to introduce for the first time the rocketry activity to STEM Club. Using the sources of our college, we have been able to design and launch basic model rockets built from scratch by HCCC STEM students. And we are working now to get certified in high power rocketry to be able to participate in competitions in the future to represent our college in national platforms. As an environmentalist, I am thrilled and excited to work with Professor Dr. Clive Lee on our research project, which will lead us to make a biodegradable material using coffee grounds as a starting material. We are looking forward to publish a scientific paper about our work under the name of our college. All these projects, and so many other ones, big or small ones, truly they could not come to real world without the collaboration of many departments at our college, such as STEM department, library department, culinary department, and student and activities department. Thank you all for your help and support. Most importantly, I want to thank Dr. Clive Lee, with whom we felt STEM Club as a family, and with whom all the meetings that we had at the club, the visits to the manufacturing and engineering companies, the hands-on workshops, and all the activities that we did, they were so easy and amazing. It all happened under his guidance. Dr. Clive Lee, we are lucky to have you as a STEM Club advisor and professor. Thanks so much for your patience, energy, dedication, and humor. Sir Isaac Newton, my favorite scientist, once said, "If I have seen further than others, it is by standing upon the shoulders of giants." If Newton, who changed our perspectives on life and nature, and who is considered the smartest Homo sapien that ever walked on the earth, if Newton said that, who am I to not express my gratitude to all HCCC faculty, administrators, and staff members who helped me directly or indirectly to see further by learning new skills and giving me constructive criticism. Thank you all, dear administrators, faculty, staff member, and classmates. Thank you so much.
I have nothing to say. Good morning and welcome back, everyone. Everyone, thank you, Anas. It is so gratifying to hear you speak to all of us. We are hoping for great things for you. Your future success is our success. Thank you so much. A Happy New Year to everyone. A year full of promise and a world of opportunities to make a difference one student at a time, to do what each of us can do to promote equity and inclusion. The question I have behind this is, are you fully embracing equity-mindedness? I'm hoping that the meaning of that question isn't escaping you as we move forward with the rest of the community colleges across the country in eliminating barriers to student success based on what we've learned as a sector over 30 plus years. by being vigilant about seeing those barriers, seeing them, and aligning our experience, our know-how, our imaginations towards embracing and advancing equity, social justice, and inclusion, we craft a future together that honors the unique talents of every individual and supports students no matter what their starting place is. These principles have to make their way down through our teaching and our work with our students. A one-size-fits-all approach leaves too many out. It ignores that each student needs to be understood as an individual. Equity, the universe of customized solutions, is not the same as equal opportunity. Our mission is a mission of opportunity. We meet students where they are and we foster opportunity for all. In order to do this, however, in order to advance the work of diversity, equity, and inclusion, we must be engaged, every single one of us, at a deeper level and be fully committed to the work. It is tough work. It is much easier to pass out a syllabus and tell the class that they all have an equal opportunity to do well. The harder work must be done. 13% graduation rates for first-time, full-time cohorts is not a convincing upholding of the public trust. I was standing in front of a shelf of books at the public library in my town, the town I live in, a couple of weeks ago, and a flashy cover caught my eye. It certainly was not the literary fiction that I thought that I was looking for. It was a recent work by Linda Duray, a PhD in psychology of the workplace. I flipped through the pages. You know, every time I look up during one of these speeches, I see Saroon right in the front row. She is a good student. She's always in the front row. She's a psychologist of the workplace. I flipped through the pages partially because of a funny picture on the cover of a woman with her hands up in her hair, obviously at her wit's end, letting out a shriek of frustration. I landed on a chapter as I paged through called The Uncommitted. The uncommitted, she writes, may not like aspects of their job. They may do just the absolute minimum of what is expected. Okay, I thought, I know there's always a small number of people like that in a workplace. But then it got interesting. At 1 second after 5, they are out the door. Their interests, energy, and commitment lay elsewhere. Their band, their relationships, their second job. I'm not disparaging their need to return to school, she writes, or their need to get by on a second job. I'm talking about their attitude. And she went on. People who are uncommitted usually work slowly, let things slip through the cracks, do the least amount of work to satisfy the boss and leave. Or they work fast, hoping the day goes by quickly, and make mistakes because they are rushing and not paying attention. Uncommitted workers will make sure they have enough gas left in the tank to get through their next part of the day. Eventually, she writes, a coworker who is not committed affects you. Me? Affects me? I asked the air around me. But I knew what she was saying. I am affected by this. Why am I repeating this somewhat harsh, judgmental language? For 2 reasons. First, a part of this struck home in terms of something I talked to my team about, engagement. There's an incredible amount of great work being done at HCCC right now towards breaking down barriers to student success. This work takes a lot of commitment. Achieving the Dream, the Enrollment Management Council, the President's Advisory Council on Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, the Academic Master Planning process, surveys, data analyses. Dozens of volunteers are working long hours to identify where the priorities are so that we can continually focus on equity, continuously improve, move the needle on things like retention and graduation, completion, transfer, so that we're on par with other high-achieving community colleges. This work demands a level of engagement that is qualitatively different from the earlier work done across the country in the name of access. It is demanding. It is supremely rewarding. We see an example of it right here. It requires that you participate, that you assess what you are doing, and attempt interventions for improvement. Moving the needle means more than students on track. It means that they're graduating, they're realizing success for themselves and for their families. The second reason why I'm talking about Duray's book and that chapter is that pieces of what she's saying are true in the context of what I was taught a long time ago, something called internal customer service. I learned it in the context of a box or a package that you are packing up, taping up, that will be opened by someone else in another department or another building. Did you take the time to pack it so things weren't in a jumble? Did you think about the end user and what that person would experience upon opening the box? This sounds trivial and mundane, but it isn't. We all receive things. I receive a lot of things: requisitions, reports, resolutions, hiring paperwork, postings, the list goes on, and yes, packages. Did you proofread? Oh my gosh, I sound like an English teacher. Seriously, did you proofread what you sent forward? Did you take the time to be proud of what you sent forward? A form, a document, a report, some text that you are posting online for students in an online class. Something you're moving forward for an article in Happenings. This is really a key concern. The work being done to clean up courses in Hudson Online alone is staggering. Here's my point. Lack of attention to detail results in the college looking less than excellent. And none of us want that, and I see some heads shaking. The problem, and I don't use that word problem, is somewhat pervasive. To make this better takes added commitment. In both of these cases, the equity work and the internal customer service, I'm asking for everyone to reflect on what Duray calls commitment, and I simply call engagement. We are in the midst of a revolution in community colleges. A radical shift in focus, finally a call to put everything we've got into holistically helping our students. How many people in this room are engaged with our Achieving the Dream work? Could you please stand and be recognized? These are the equity champions, and we need more. How many people, show of hands, participated in the Achieving the Dream Capacity Cafe? Wow, lots of hands. Awesome. Right now, today, more than 30 of your peers are going to attend an AQ orientation for an AQ course on effective teaching and really employing equity and equity-mindedness in your teaching. These people volunteered, and it's adjunct professors as well as full-time staff. They volunteered to learn more about how equity filters down to the classroom, how to be even better teachers and coaches. They are undergoing professional development aimed at creating equitable classrooms. The AQ course goes hand in hand with our ATD work. We are proud of our first class, and when you hear good things about their experiences, make sure to become part of the second cohort that will launch in September. I really want to thank, I mentioned the academic master plan, I really want to thank Assistant VP Chris Wall for shepherding that process. Thank you, Chris. And I really want to thank Paula Robeson. Is she in the room? There she is. With very little direction from me, she has built a relationship with AQ that is just magnificent. Thank you so much, Paula. A new semester starting in a couple of days. So much to celebrate as we move into the spring. I can't wait for the spring. And I did text Ilya they're working on the temperature in here. In a few minutes, you'll hear Dr. Reber, President Reber, Chris, recognize one of your colleagues for a truly outstanding accomplishment. And you will see also who has won the Johnston Award for great teaching. In the midst of this, I ask you to reflect on part of the reality for many of our students. They face an immense amount of pressures that create stresses and mental health challenges. Jared Delancey calls it an epidemic of mental health challenges. Poverty creates stress. Social media pressures create stress. Students feel judged. Some have experienced trauma that they can't leave at home. Family members have been incarcerated or sent back to countries. Some have experienced loss and home displacement. As you learned at the last College Service Day, Lisa Doherty and her team have developed Hudson Helps, a set of holistic student supports and services from food pantries to housing assistance to mental health counseling. Please learn all you can about these new services that make a difference for so many of our students. The last part of my remarks concerns this visual. This is a visual representation, I'm sorry that you can't see all of it, I'll try to read off a little bit of it, of what's happening this year that will feed into and inform HCC's next strategic plan. Thank you to John Scanlon, Heather DeVries, and Chris Wall for mind melding around this image that illustrates in a concise way how these things that we are doing, all of these college-wide planning events that you keep hearing about, will lead to the next strategic plan. This was one of those thought experiment challenges that I frequently impose upon my team, and they came out from it beautifully. We are assuming a 5-year plan, but we will leave room for discussion of a shorter plan. At the Middle States Conference, we heard examples of colleges who, because of market pressures, economic and demographic shifts, and changes to local industry, had chosen to create 3-year plans. The strategic plan is our plan, and it goes beyond this room because everybody's not here. It's our plan for delivering on our mission. The our is really important. Students, faculty, staff, trustees, community members, industry partners, high school partners, university partners, the list goes on. Our plan. So on the left, the president's goals. These were formed as expansions and extensions of our current mission, vision, and values and our current strategic plan. The arrows in the middle, all moving in the same direction, reflect the forward momentum we are in the midst of. The first arrow on the top is the academic master plan, the central blueprint for activities within the academic division. Over the last couple of months, we have had some very well-attended SOAR sessions using appreciative inquiry to move all of the participants' ideas forward toward overarching goals. The next arrow is achieving the dream. And you can see these are all moving together and all work off of each other. We are engaged in a 3-year process with ATD, a national reform network dedicated to helping colleges create data-informed initiatives that drive higher rates of student success and, of course, completion. Many of you completed the ICAT survey and attended the Capacity Cafe. The next arrow is Middle States, our accreditor. Our accreditation was recently reaffirmed for 8 years. Woo! But we have a number of recommendations that require focused follow-up. We will soon be completing our annual institutional update and reporting on any progress made in our key success metrics. Next is the President's Advisory Council on Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. An extensive DEI survey led to a large set of data that was distributed to the college community at the end of last week. Special town hall meetings on January 31st in Journal Square, February 12th at North Hudson campus, and February 18th in Journal Square, have been scheduled to provide an opportunity for discussion, input, and the crafting of goals that will be represented in a DEI strategic plan. Please RSVP per the directions on the email. The last arrow represents how we capture student voices. Tonight we'll be discussing this with the board, and John Scanlon will briefly discuss this last arrow. The Real College Survey and the SESI, which are big surveys capturing voices of students and hearing what it is that they feel is important for our future. All of this is providing us with important data about what we do, how we are serving our community, and how we are perceived. And it will drive us towards our mission review and strategic planning process that will commence in the fall and provide numerous open fora and opportunities to fully participate, to be engaged. We will look for overlaps and common emergent themes as we move along, things that we find in the DEI survey and the ICAT, and how we're finding similar things. And we'll practice what John Scanlon calls shared architecture, co-crafting a meaningful plan centered on student success and equity. Lastly, so much of what we do revolves around high school partnerships. Many of our students come from Hudson County high schools, and the more we learn about what is happening at the high school level, the better prepared we are to serve our students well. I am so honored at this time to introduce one of today's amazing guest speakers, Martha Noriette Garcia, one of Hudson County's treasures, this year's Hudson County Teacher of the Year, an exceptional art educator in Jersey City, who will share her inspirational acceptance speech with all of you called Do Your Little Bit of Good. What an honor. Martha.
Thank you, Dr. Freeman. And as she's coming, those of you who are standing, please take this time to find yourself a seat. Thank you.
All right, good morning, Hudson Community County College. As Dr. Freeman mentioned, this is the speech that I made for the Hudson County Superintendent's meeting back in December. I would like to take this opportunity to thank you for this humbling honor as Hudson County Teacher of the Year. As a young girl, I would play teacher with my brother and the kids my grandmother babysat. But I didn't always know that I wanted to become a teacher. Deciding to become a teacher began with my fondness of all the art classes I took in high school. Art is where I excelled and where teachers took the time to recognize my talents. I always felt calm and relaxed in my art classes. It was my happy place. My art teachers consistently encouraged me through my projects, and their positive reinforcement gave me the confidence to excel in all my other classes. I find joy in working with people, especially young minds that are not afraid to think imaginatively, be carefree, and take chances. Art surrounds us everywhere we look. It's even in my name, Martha. I believe everyone has the capability to learn art if they have an open mind and heart. During my sophomore year of college, I had studied abroad in Florence, Italy, where my art history lessons came to life. Immersing myself in the Italian culture was truly an amazing experience. While visiting the unique city of Venice, I stopped in a store with a display of many different types of Venetian masks. And I thought to myself, one day when I have my own art class, I'd like to teach students about identity and the meaning behind masks. As a middle school art educator, I've had the privilege to witness students grow and flourish in their artistic skills. My students have participated in various poster contests, such as the Holiday Path poster, Earth Day, and Frogs Are Green, which students have earned recognition in each of the contests respectively. In addition, I try to instill my love of learning to my students by telling them about my travel experiences in Asia, Europe, North America, and Australia. Through my travels, I have come up with interesting and engaging art lessons for my students. I am a teacher leader and continuously find ways to improve student achievement and attend professional development, such as incorporating STEAM and into the curriculum and social emotional learning, to turn key back to my colleagues and students. I also like to talk to the students about workshops that I attend at places like the Metropolitan Museum of Art and the Philadelphia Museum of Art, where I learn cool new things and bring back to the classroom, encouraging them to visit museums and galleries. My JC Honors Art classes participate in the Memory Project, a nonprofit organization that invites art teachers and their students to create portraits of youth around the world who have faced substantial challenges. As part of our curriculum, students are taught to draw a self-portrait with proper proportions. I thought it was a great opportunity to kill two birds with one stone and teach students about global awareness by giving back to the community. The students had an amazing experience drawing and painting their portraits. We waited patiently for several weeks and received a personalized video from the Memory Project. The video was heartwarming and touching to see how the children were happy and excited and grateful to receive their portraits back. We were left with good feelings in our hearts. In addition, I teach students they need to work and earn their way by coming up with fundraising ideas, such as creating commissions for friends, family, and teachers, instead of simply asking their parent and guardian for money. We have had the chance to participate. Thank you. We have had the chance to participate in this wonderful foundation for the past 2 years, drawing children from Haiti and Syria. Despite the recent tragic events that occurred in Jersey City, fear has no place in our schools and communities. We're teacher leaders and our voice matters when these things happen. I implore on you a call to end gun violence. Educators play an invaluable role in the lives of children. My students' homework assignment every day is to bring a pencil, a folder, but most importantly, a positive attitude. In the art room, I promote coming into the room with a positive outlook because I believe this establishes a good mindset and prepares the child to become successful in life. I plan to continue using art as a catalyst for change and look forward to teaching my students who inspire me to become a better teacher. I'd like to leave you with a quote that I like to live by. Do your little bit of good where you are. It's those little bits of good put together that overwhelm the world. By Desmond Tutu. It was not an easy journey to get to where I am today. I'm thankful for my friends, family, and mentors for their support and encouragement. Thank you.
Thank you for that amazing presentation. And next we are going to hear from our president, the person who has brought to you town halls, who has made it possible for us to operate in the activities and the things that we want to do here at the college, a person who is not shy from being transparent and making himself available at every opportunity to engage with people. And now we're going to hear a few words from Dr. President Chris Reber.
Thank you so much. Wow, it's wonderful to see everyone here, and how inspiring this morning has already been. Anas, you're the person why all of us are here, and we are so enormously proud of you. Your accomplishments are bring all of us great pride, and you're going to thank you. And Martha, you personify what all of us strive to do as educators, and congratulations on your inspirational success. And to my valued colleague Eric, thank you for your really wise remarks that I couldn't agree with more. Thank you. It's wonderful working with you. Shortly before our holiday break, all of us, our larger community, and the national and world communities were deeply saddened by the horrific events that occurred in the December 10th Jersey City shooting that resulted in the loss of life, injuries, and the devastation of families, friends, and community members. The shootings were perpetrated by anti-Semitic terrorists and further anti-Semitic hatred and bloodshed were leveled against innocent members of our regional community and beyond in ensuing weeks. As Martin Luther King said, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. We all stand in solidarity with our Jewish colleagues, students, friends, and neighbors, and all who are victims of hate crimes. Please join me in a moment of silence for all victims of hatred and bigotry. Thank you. Today promises to be a wonderful opportunity for engagement, a word already used, reflection, and professional development. I'd like to begin by thanking Director of Faculty and Staff Development, Elisa Williams, and all who worked with her to plan today's activity. You're an inspiration. And I want to thank members of the College Service Day Planning Committee, Tony Acevedo, Linda Sikowitz, Cynthia Criollo, Sharon Daughtry, Eric Friedman, Linda Guastini, Daryl Jones, Victoria Marino, Yuris Pujols, Paula Roberson, Myrta Sanchez, Michael Welpley, Kyle Woolley, and I'm sure others. It truly takes a village. Thank you all, colleagues. Well, as has already been mentioned, last Friday, our President's Advisory Council on Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion distributed the full results of our Campus Climate Diversity Survey that nearly 800 students, faculty, staff, and trustees completed in November. And as has been noted, we've scheduled town hall meetings to discuss the survey findings and their implications for continuous improvement in all areas of diversity, equity, and inclusion, including campus safety and our response to emergencies, and I hope you will all participate. In a few minutes, we'll be introducing our new employees, and we welcome all of them to our Hudson County Community College family. But allow me to take this opportunity to welcome our newest colleague, Dr. Daryl Jones, our Associate Vice President for Academic Affairs. Daryl is already providing phenomenal leadership in his new academic leadership role here at HCCC. He's a member of our President's Executive Council and Cabinet, and Dr. Friedman will be introducing him, and he will speak with us in a few minutes. Welcome, Daryl. I'm also delighted to share that our valued colleague, North Hudson Campus Executive Director Yuris Pujols, will be honored later this month for his educational leadership by Save Latin America at their annual Los Tres Pro Series Antillanos Gala. Yuris will be one of 3 honorees at the annual gala. Yuris, based in Union City, Save Latin America provides education, wellness, social, and economic development services for the community. Very appropriately, the theme of this year's gala is celebrating education. And we were very pleased to learn last week that HCCC has been selected as a major collaborator for the National Institute of Staff and Organizational Development's May 2020 International Conference on Teaching and Leadership Excellence in Austin, Texas. A Hudson County Community College team of 5 faculty and staff will present no fewer than 13 workshop topics at the conference, with expenses covered by NYSOD. Team members are nursing and health sciences, if you would stand, instructor Sirhan Abdullah, business lecturer Sharon Daughtry, assistant dean for student life and leadership Veronica Gerasimo, director of faculty and staff development Elisa Williams, and interim dean of English and ESL Joseph Caniglia. Congratulations, colleagues. This achievement is another example of this college's growing national distinction and visibility, and it's a wonderful professional development opportunity for the faculty and staff, so congratulations, colleagues. And hot off the press, I'm delighted to share that for the 2nd year in a row, an HCCC faculty member will receive the prestigious American Association of Community Colleges Dale P. Parnell Faculty Distinction Award. This national recognition, named in honor of former AACC President and CEO Dale P. Parnell, recognizes faculty nationally for teaching excellence and really making a difference in the classroom. Many of you will remember that Associate Professor of English Katie Sweeting received this award last year. Thank you, Katie. And it was a pleasure being with her at the conference and having her accept that award. It was an immense point of pride for our entire college community. Well, we learned late last week that our valued colleague, drum roll, do we have a drum roll? Assistant Professor of History, Tony Acevedo. Tony will be presented the 2020 Dale P. Cornell Faculty Distinction Award at AACC's National Convention in March of this year. Tony's currently in California helping his family, but we look forward to congratulating him in person soon. To have two, yeah, that's worthy. I hope his ears are burning. Hopefully he's up now. To have two faculty members win this prestigious award in successive years is truly a testament to the level of excellence in teaching at Hudson County Community College. Today's theme, removing barriers to student success, couldn't be more relevant. Our summer and fall were enormously busy and productive, and spring promises to be even busier. And as we begin a new calendar year and new semester, many significant happenings are on the horizon thanks to the dedication and hard work of everyone. Our work with Achieving the Dream is progressing well thanks to the significant and increasing engagement of faculty, staff, and students throughout the college. As you're aware, ATD leadership and data coaches, Drs. Mary Fightfield and Renee Garcia, completed their second two-day visit to the college in late November. They met with students, faculty, and staff in all parts of the college and led a college-wide interactive capacity cafe where items in the recent ICAT survey completed by more than 300 Hudson County Community College employees were discussed in small groups. The survey sought input into the college's current capacity, practices, and outcomes in 7 areas of critical importance to student success. And I sincerely thank Dream Team co-chairs Heather DeVries and Dr. Sheila Dinan and all members of the team for their leadership. Will all members of the Dream Team please stand? Thank you, valued colleagues. Fantastic. Executive Director of Institutional Research, John Scanlon, is leading significant new data analyses that are helping us determine specific goals and areas of focus for our student success initiatives. And soon we will all receive the ICAT survey results. I wanted to start with diversity, equity, and inclusion, and then we're going to move to ICAT. And we'll devote our spring to determining where to focus our attention in the coming year, culminating in the identification of 2 or 3 specific goals for our community with outcome metrics by May. It's clear that, in the end, promoting student success, including degree completion, transfer, and gainful employment, is about removing barriers to that success, the theme for our time together today, as has already been noted. 2 very important academic areas of focus in which good work to address barriers is already underway are the time and funding required for students who are enrolled in our developmental education and English as a second language courses and programs. Astoundingly, 95% of Hudson County Community College's first-time, full-time students are enrolled in 1 or more developmental ed and or ESL courses when they begin their studies here. 95%. First-time, full-time students, of course, don't comprise, I think, even a majority of our students, but it's the cohort that the feds use to measure and report our success and compare us to their established standards and to the performance rates of sister institutions nationwide. So here at HCCC, almost all of our entering first-time, full-time students begin in 1 or more developmental education or ESL courses, and for far too many of these students, eventual completion rates are very low and significantly lower than completion rates for students who are college ready, quote unquote. I want to really emphasize the issue is not the quality of these programs. Indeed, the programs are outstanding. The issue is the additional time and cost they add to student completion, which are significant barriers to the perseverance and success of our students. I have a couple of slides I want to show you. Go to the first one. So, one of the success metrics that we all look at is fall-to-fall retention, and you can see we've made progress in recent years. Back in 11 and leading up to 11, where you see the dip, we had the Great Recession, and community college enrollments, including ours, soared because of the Depression, but it brought so many students here that many of them were not prepared to succeed, and that's why you see that deep chasm. And then since then, we've been making steady progress, but we're still significantly behind both the national average and the New Jersey average in terms of the proportion of our students that persist from fall to fall. If we could go to the next slide. Here's the graduation rate that the feds are looking at, that our accreditors are looking at. How many of our first-time, full-time students complete their intended associate degree within 3 years of starting here? That's 150% of time to completion. And you can see that we lag far behind both the New Jersey average and the national average at 13%. Virtually half of the national average. Now, there are a lot of reasons for this, and this is the work that we are doing and need to do. Large urban comprehensive community colleges like ours typically have lower rates of completion, but this is a statistic all of us need to be wanting to improve, as Eric also mentioned. So go to the next slide, if you would. Why is this number so low? There are many data that we are really culling, but here's where I think a major part of the challenge, which isn't really surprising but important to look at, comes. So you can see that for all of those first-time, full-time students who entered in 16, 95% roughly of them started in one or more ESL or developmental education courses. Of those students, the completion rate in 3 years was 11%. For students that were not enrolled in developmental or ESL, the number was 36%, 3 times, more than 3 times, the proportion of students in developmental ed and English as a second language. And some other metrics are really telling. So if a student started in the first semester and earned 12 or more credits, that's ESL or non-ESL, developmental, non-developmental, all students. Their 150% success rate was 23%. If they didn't earn 12, if they earned less than 12, it was an abysmal 2%. So the intensity of that early experience, the completion of significant early coursework is incredibly important, and the National Center for Community College Research at Columbia actually has identified nationwide another critical, statistically significant critical point. At 9 credits or more, nationally, students are much more likely to succeed, and when they fall below 9, it's a significantly lower proportion. And then finally, in terms of first-year persistence, those who entered in fall of 16 and continued into spring of 17 full-time had a 19% completion rate compared to 7% who returned part-time and 0% who didn't return the next semester. These are some of the data points that I think are going to help us really hone in on where can we make an impact that's likely to move the needle, as Eric's has noted. I applaud the work, I'd go back to the first slide if you would. I applaud the work that faculty and staff are doing to streamline time to completion and to consider alternatives, such as improving and making the non-credit ESL track affordable for students who don't intend to pursue a degree here, and the successful accelerated learning program, or co-requisite model for addressing developmental educational needs. In this model, as many of you are very much aware, students enroll in college courses while concurrently receiving supports to promote their success. So rather than having to start in the traditional way and non-credit courses or courses that don't yield credit to college degree completion and make their way through those before they're college ready and taking a college course, they're in those college courses with all of our students, but they're getting the support they need concurrently to succeed and complete those courses. This saves time and removes stigmas associated with developmental education. I want to emphasize that these aren't just Hudson County Community College challenges, these are nationwide challenges. My hope is that eventually We might eliminate traditional prerequisite developmental education courses entirely and move to co-requisite models coupled with the expanded use of multiple measures to more effectively determine college readiness. These approaches are proving to enhance the success and completion of students nationwide, and we're seeing positive outcomes in our own data. Ultimately, changes in these programs will be driven by you, based on your research, collaboration with other colleges, and innovative experimentation in the classroom and academic support areas. I will support this continued good work in every way that I can. And as we consider strategies for promoting student success, I want to share a serious concern that I have related to the large number of overload credits a few members of our faculty are teaching. In a few cases, the number of courses being taught is significantly beyond universally accepted norms. I'm hopeful that over time we can work together to realize reasonable limits to how many courses any faculty member is asked or asks to teach here. A practice and the almost universal practice at New Jersey's community colleges is a limit of 2 overload courses per instructor at any given time. I am mindful of the historic salary concerns that have in part resulted in this challenge, and I'm pleased that we've been able to begin to make significant progress toward addressing these concerns. For example, through the 2019 Professional Association Collective Bargaining Agreement, the College and Professional Association have addressed a wide variety of salary concerns that have led to significant increases in various forms of compensation. In fact, I understand, I just learned this recently, that the Professional Association CBA was voted the best contract settlement in New Jersey by the NJEA. And, you know, all of you should take that as a real point of pride, and I want you to know I do too. I am equally proud of that accomplishment. Further, our joint committee working on recommendations regarding coordinator positions is currently proposing new and more equitable job descriptions, and where appropriate, increased and more equitable levels of compensation. In addition, the college has formally stated a commitment to developing an employee position classification and compensation system. Very importantly, the Board of Trustees will act upon the college community's recommended consulting firm to help us with this important work at this evening's meeting of the Board of Trustees. So this is a discussion I hope we can continue to have together in the interest of ensuring there's ample time and opportunity for the full engagement of faculty with students. Research data clearly demonstrate, perhaps beyond any other correlation, the central importance of faculty-student engagement to student success and degree completion. This remains a work in progress and a collaborative conversation with our professional association and our whole community. A second very important set of barriers falls outside of academic programs and has already been mentioned. Many of you have participated in work we're doing with 2 nationally recognized consultants to gain insight into how we can more effectively support individuals in distress and individuals who need support in the many areas of accessibility. Our work with Salome Hayward and Associates and Dr. Brian Van Brunt, Executive Director of the NCHERN Group, both nationally recognized colleagues in their respective areas of talent. This work is already providing opportunities for continuous improvement in the removal of barriers for many members of our community. And I want to thank Vice President for Student Affairs and Enrollment, Lisa Doherty, Associate Dean of Academic and Student Success, Dr. Sheila Dinan, and other members of their teams for their outstanding leadership of these consultant projects and the new opportunities they're providing to serve our students and other community members. Thank you, Lisa and Sheila. As has been noted, this is part of the larger Hudson Helps project that's now in full gear. As you are aware, we created and opened food pantries on the Journal Square and North Hudson campuses last year, which to date have served thousands of students. Yes, it's truly a manifestation of what I think our communities love, and it's making an impact, but it's only scratching the surface, to be honest, as national data and discussion about this topic is now proliferating. So we're going to continue to grow and develop these pantries in partnership with other college and community agencies. I'm absolutely committed to not letting wonderful food that Flick provides us at events like today's lunch go to waste. They need to go to our food pantries and to our students. This year, though, our work to remove significant barriers to student success has broadened with the addition of Hudson Health Services to address basic needs concerns of students and others in our college community, including food insecurity, homelessness, mental health, immigration status, accessibility, clothing, and emergency funding assistance, among others. The mission of Hudson Helps is to provide thoughtful, caring, and comprehensive information about access to services, programs, and resources that will assist in addressing basic needs beyond the classroom, ultimately resulting in greater student success. The one-stop Hudson Health Center will be located on the 3rd floor of 70 Sip Avenue soon after our new student center opens and becomes the new home for members of our student affairs staff. Leading this exceedingly important work are Vice President for Student Affairs and Enrollment, again, Lisa Doherty, and Associate Dean of Student Affairs, Dr. David Clark. Lisa and David, thank you so much for your leadership. Our President's Advisory Council on Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion has met throughout the fall and is defining the areas of focus for the Council's work in the coming year, which will culminate in the writing of the college's first ever strategic plan for diversity, equity, and inclusion, as Eric has noted. I want to thank co-chairs Lalisa Williams and Yuris Pujols and all members of the Advisory Council for their leadership. Will all members of the President's Advisory Council on Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion please stand? Thank you all so much. The coming year will engage all of us in planning a discussion of our next iteration of the college's strategic plan, including a review of our mission and vision. Our work together in overarching areas of priority will form the foundation for our next plan and will provide an opportunity to integrate shared themes and values of this work. Can you see some overlap in our comments? These areas of priority include current work, as you've already heard, associated with the academic master plan. That'll be a focus for this afternoon as well. Our Achieving the Dream work, our middle state self-study and visiting team recommendations that all of us work so hard on, the President's Advisory Council on DEI, and very, very importantly, student voices from a number of recent and impending surveys, including the Community College Survey of Student Engagement and student focus groups. And I've asked Executive Vice President and Provost Dr. Eric Friedman to lead the planning process that will engage all college constituencies. He's already at it, as you can see. We fundamentally want everyone to participate in this strategic planning process, as everyone in our community has important perspectives to share, and indeed every person matters. So I thank Eric for his leadership, and you'll hear more about this work today and this semester. I'm really pleased to share, as many of you, but I'm sure all of you are not aware, that at our November meeting of the Board of Trustees, our project to install state-of-the-art ITV equipment at the North Hudson and Journal Square campuses was approved. This equipment will be installed in classrooms and meeting rooms on both campuses and will allow us to share classes and meetings virtually beginning next fall. Yes, fantastic. This presents a really important strategic opportunity to add courses and the potential for full program completion in more areas of study at the North Hudson campus, addressing additional barriers to the recruitment, retention, and success of our students at North Hudson. One of the requirements, though, for anyone who wants to teach using ITV is going to be equal time shared at each location, so that both students at both locations have a good proportion of time with the instructor. The technology will be fully installed and ready for use in the fall, and I thank CIO Patricia Clay and many faculty and staff who worked on this exciting project. Thank you. Patricia, where are you? Thank you. She had a whole task force working with her, and I think she's going to be discussing this in a few minutes, actually. Work on our new state-of-the-art student center is nearly completed, and we expect to have occupancy. Is Ilya here? I always make him nervous. We expect to have occupancy by about mid-February, with some additional refinements happening later this spring. We discovered that there are going to be ways to enhance access to the building beyond just the access from the library, and that work will commence probably into the summer after the Student Center opens. But this is an exciting and exceptionally important space for our students, our student organizations, and our entire college community. Student organization officers and student affairs staff will have offices there. A new food service facility will provide hot and cold food and beverage selections. And there will be, yes. And there will be exciting spaces for student interaction and engagement, programming, study groups, and others. Our safety and security staff and our facilities staff will also have welcomed new space in the student center, including a command center of staff dedicated to the safety and security of our community. Piggybacking on the discussion we had at the town hall in December following the tragedy in Jersey City, our command center will be fully up and center and visible with large windows right to the street as a resource for helping ensure the safety of our community. As soon as we are fully settled in and operational, we'll be holding a grand opening celebration for the Student Center. I want to thank our student affairs staff, our facilities staff, and many others for their years of dedicated planning and leadership that have brought us to this wonderful moment and opportunity to support and celebrate our students. A special thanks to Executive Director of Engineering and Operations, Ilya Ashmian, for his steadfast leadership and support of this project. And I can tell you, it's for Ilya and the staff, it's thorny. Any project like this is thorny. Lots of strides forward and setbacks, but it's getting done. It's going to be beautiful. We're beginning to, if you walk by that, you can begin to look in and see how nice it is. In fact, I think we're going to be seeing finishes like flooring and paint happening this week. While I'm speaking about facilities, I'd also like to share that at this evening's Board of Trustees meeting, the board will act on a resolution to collaborate with the Jersey City Redevelopment Agency to market and eventually sell our facilities at 70 Sip Avenue and 162-168 Sip Avenue. This work is a component of the facilities master plan and our strategy for funding a new 10-story academic tower that has now been fully planned. And that academic tower, it will house active learning classrooms, a university center for our four-year partners, including NJCU, a full gymnasium to rekindle athletic offerings, a wellness center that will also support our growing academic programs in that area, a state-of-the-art center for business and industry, a veteran center, and other premier facilities. Planning for this, as I think you all know, has been underway for several years and will continue for a period of time, so there are no imminent plans to move anyone until the new facility is constructed. We'll be negotiating timing of any potential building sales to ensure alignment with our schedule to construct and move into the new academic tower, and we'll keep the college community informed about our progress. So this is a really smart, I think, sustainable way of trying to ensure that we have the best state-of-the-art facilities. So, you know, we take facilities offline that are beyond their efficiency, age. That's how I feel. And rather than investing more and more dollars in expensive maintenance, we take them online, we sell them because they happen to be on land that's enormously valuable, given the growth happening in front of us. And then we combine those sales proceeds with Chapter 12 funds that we amass every year, thanks to bonds that the county and the state leverage on our behalf, and also if there are any reserve funds that we can utilize, we combine all of those funds and then build the next building. And so it's going to take some additional time, but I think we're making really good progress, and we're going to see this happen. And so with that, I'm going to conclude my remarks. Colleagues and students, thank you for everything you do every day to provide transformational and life-changing opportunities for our students in our community. I look forward to participating with and supporting all of you this year in the life of this great college. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Greetings again. Each year, Phil Johnston, one of our foundation board members, facilitates and makes happen the Johnston Faculty Awards for Excellence in Teaching. And we're so grateful to Phil Johnston and He also gave an additional gift to the college this year, which you'll see in the brand new happenings. Just phenomenal legacy of gifts from Phil Johnston. So one of the requirements of the award is that we have an outside judge. And so we get these nominations, some are self, some are from colleagues, some are from students. And we send these along, and it's an interesting process. But this year's outside judge, a colleague and a friend, is Joao Sedicius, the Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences at New Jersey City University. And I must say, of everyone that I've ever asked to participate in this way, he was the most enthusiastic, and he was so happy to be able to do this. So he's going to say a few words. I'm going to bring him up, and then I just have a couple of words that I'm going to read you some fragments from the nomination letters for each of the recipients.
Good morning. Thank you very much for having me over. I feel very much like you're part of the family. I'm João Sedicius. I'm the Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences at New Jersey City University. A continuation of Hudson County Community College. And as I mentioned to Provost Friedman, I love coming here because you throw some of the best parties and celebrations. And this is proof positive. I think we have a thing or two to learn from you. A well-known Brazilian educator and philosopher, Paulo Freire, and Paulo Freire comes from the same hometown as I do, Recife, Brazil. And I had the very, very unique honor of being able to teach at the same university where Paulo Freire studied and taught. So sometimes I'll be walking the hallways and I'll say, he was here. He breathed the same air. So maybe some of that magic will rub off on me. He was a leading advocate of critical pedagogy. He maintained that of all instruments of social change, the most profound and transformative was education. I agree with Freire that most of us inherently look for meaning and purpose in the work we do. Fortunately, when you work in higher education, you do not have to look very far to find a concrete sense of purpose in what we do on a daily basis. Much of society thinks we are in the business of educating and training individuals, but we are actually in the business of transforming lives. We change lives profoundly and invariably for the better, and we do this both with mainstream students as well as with some of the most underserved segments of the population. We are happy to recognize and celebrate the two faculty members, Professor Susanna Wexler and Professor Salvador Cuellar, who I understand unfortunately is home because he's under the weather. They are receiving the Johnston Awards today because they have lived up to the highest standards as defined by Freire. Our ultimate objective as educators is student success. And these two professors have proven time and again their abiding commitment to serve students and support individual academic and professional trajectories toward this goal. I believe our own success as teachers can only be measured by the success of our students. And if we use this metric, we can state unequivocally that Professors Wexler and Cuellar have been eminently successful. Congratulations to both of them, and thank you.
Once again, I have nothing to say. Susanna Wexler. Susanna Wexler, as it's stated here by a student, is nominated for excellence and dedication to her work. Every time I finished an essay, I had to write a revision letter that made me summarize my work before submitting it. This letter helped me grow as a writer because it made me focus on my writing more than the grade that I get on the paper. ... Thanks to Professor Wexler, I'm confident in my writing. ... Her dedication goes beyond the class hours. During her office hours, I can go to get feedback on papers, not necessarily for her class only. And at the end, I believe that Professor Wexler should be the recipient of the Johnston Award because of her dedication and hard work with her students. Come on up, Suzanne. Pen and a check.
I don't know, thank you. Thank you, everyone. I guess thanks to the students.
And I know he wanted to be here today. Sal always enjoys this, and he's not feeling well. I want to read a little bit from a student. He uses active and collaborative learning techniques, such as open discussions and group works. He makes sure he gives credit to students who give unique opinions and who excel in the class. He challenges students academically by assigning homework that's not just about memorization of concepts, but it's the application of the lessons. He truly values enriching educational experiences as he encourages students like me to pursue opportunities that will have a positive impact on my career. And lastly, he empowers students to go above and beyond in terms of learning and participating in extracurricular activities. He places high priority on his involvement with the college. I think highly of him. He deserves this award for excellence in teaching. In absentia, Sal Cuellar. I'd like to bring up Patricia Clay, our Chief Information Officer, to talk about ITV. Congratulations, Susanna and Sal.
Good morning and Happy New Year. So Chris already gave you a little bit of the highlights, but let me explain to you a little bit about what our ITV Telepresence project is and when it's coming. So what is ITV Telepresence? ITV stands for Internetwork Television, so we're visually connected over distance. And telepresence means that you can feel as though you're there with the people on the other side. So you're not just watching someone on the television. So the goals that Chris Reaver put in front of us for this project were that we would have an immersive connection between the classrooms, conference and meeting spaces, that we could extend the classes and meetings across both campuses in Journal Square and North Hudson, that no one on either side should feel disconnected from the other side, and in the future be able to connect C caucus, individual students, people that are ill, or guest speakers. So, some of the features of this system. There's immersive technology that's built right in. We don't need to be wearing a special sensor to know who's speaking and where they are. We don't have to have somebody operating cameras with a, joystick or whatever. The system will focus on who's speaking automatically and follows automatically. And the system can also transcribe video automatically. So here's a little bit of photo. If you look, you might recognize somebody in this picture. Thank you to Eurus for being a part of the task. So where are we getting started with this project? We'll have classrooms in the L building at 505 and North Hudson at 511. Meeting rooms in the A building and North Hudson. And conference spaces, including this room, the multi-purpose room in North Hudson, and spaces downstairs and across the hall. So when is it happening? Well, the meeting rooms are available soonest, so they will be getting started soonest. Conference spaces when there's not something booked in here, that's a little complicating factor. And the classrooms will start as soon as the spring semester is over, which gives us a lot of time. So it's coming soon. So how will you learn more about this other than me talking to you this morning? Watch our My Hudson page, attend a workshop. Thanks to Paula Roberson, we're going to be having at least two workshops that we already have planned, March 19th and April 30th at 1 to 2 p.m. And there will be more coming. So thank you. You can reach out to me directly, or you can reach out to us at ITS for help at any time, and watch our page for updates. Thank you very much.
One of the most fun, most engaged people on campus, one of the people I so look forward to working with, although she does come with a lot of those challenges that I talked about, these mind puzzles, but we always work them out. Here to talk about some of the successes in the nursing school, Carol Fasano, the director of the nursing program.
Well, welcome again. You heard enough welcomes this morning, but we're very, very happy to be here this morning. Thank you, Eric, for your introduction. We're very proud of our nursing program, and we're always trying to prevent barriers for student success. That's one of our major goals. I'm very happy to be presenting this morning with Renee Rivas, RN, graduate of the class of 2019, who has taken advantage of some of the barriers that we've removed, and Renee will discuss that with you further. As you all know, we have a full-time day division, evening division, and as of 2018, we opened up a weekend division. And we have right now in the spring semester about 220 students sitting in nursing seats, and there's probably about 900 trying to take courses that'll enable them to get into nursing. So there's a large population. The exciting thing with the weekend division is we have about 45 students, 53% are men, which is very interesting. And this has afforded opportunities for individuals to go to school to become a nurse that they would have never had before. That's the constant message we receive. And what's nice also with the three divisions, we talk about barriers. If a student for whatever reason has some type of upset in their life, you know, their job hours change, something with family, if they're in good standing and seats are available, they can transfer from one division to the other because the curriculum is the same, the nursing courses are the same. And that we try to accommodate whenever it's possible. We're very, very happy with the outcome. We're also happy to announce that the class that Renee just graduated from, which had 63 graduates, it's an unofficial number, but we have a 90% pass rate in NCLEX for this year, which is a very good. Needless to say, we've had articulation agreements with many different programs over the years, but our biggest ally is NJCU, which we continue to have a very strong relationship with. This past semester, we developed an articulation with the University of Phoenix and also with Ramapo College. Chris Wall was very instrumental in helping that to happen, and it gives the students the opportunity, if they just want to do online courses, they can do so, and they give them 40 credits for their RN, which I thought was a great thing as well. Now, last year, we had a very good event that took place. We had an event whereby NJCU and the college signed a contractual agreement whereby nursing college courses, BSN, would be taught on site for our graduates to take. They wouldn't have to go to another campus to do so. But another wonderful thing was, it's kind of like the AP program in high school. While they're in their ADN program, they can take baccalaureate BSN courses, which was a great thing. So by the time they graduate, they have 12 BSN credits, and they can complete their degree in no time. So that was a very big plus. We had 8 students that started in it, and Renee was one of them, and that's why I brought him along. And also we have 20 now. So it's growing and it's expanding, and it's a very positive thing. So our goal, we've always been on the cutting edge of nursing education. We continue to be, because I think one of our, what is it all about? It's about students, and it's about making the best nurses that we can make, because all of you are going to need one, hopefully, not hopefully, regretfully someday, and we want to make sure you're getting the best care possible. And this is the picture last year of the agreement that was signed with Dr. Henderson, et cetera, from NJCU. So with no further ado, I'd like to introduce Renee Rivas. Renee is a graduate in RN from the class of 2019. He's the father of 2 small children. He's an Army veteran. He works full-time, part-time, and he's one of our first ones. He took BSN courses while he was in nursing school, and he's got almost nothing left to take. He's almost finished. Renee?
Good morning. So yeah, my name is Renee. Recent graduate, so I graduated in May. Always been a go-getter. So currently I have 4 jobs. So I'm an ER nurse, a transfusion nurse. Thank you. And I'm also a fitness CrossFit coach. I'm still in the Army now serving. Also a father of 2 daughters, so I'm not saying it's a job, but it takes up a lot of time. And I'm also a husband, but specifically in nursing. So for nursing, I think you need to be prepared and you need to have an edge to be successful. So I want to thank the nursing department and especially the nursing faculty for preparing. As far as the edge, so I took advantage of they had a dual program for NJCU and Hudson where you can take BSN courses while you're still taking the associate program here. While I collaborated with Hudson collaborated with NJCU, I was able to do, they said as many as 12 credits at the time, but saying I was a go-getter, so I kind of found loopholes where I could take more. So you're normally supposed to be able to graduate and then you finish within like a year and a half after graduating from here. From what I've done, I'm going to be graduating in May coming up, so it only took me another year. So the dual program definitely gave me the edge to land the current jobs that I have because they see that I'm working towards my BSN. So I got the job in the ER department at Clara Moss. The transfusion center also said, they see that I'm getting my BSN soon. And the edge I'm going to have once I have the BSN, I'm going to be able to work in certain hospitals and departments that require the BSN to get my foot in the door. So, thank you. So I just want to, again, thank Dean here for helping me out with everything that she's done. And so I graduated from Hudson last May, and I have 2 classes left, and I'll be graduating this May. Actually, I have class in like 20 minutes. So.
Thank you, everyone. Does anybody have any questions? Thank you very much.
That took vision because it didn't exist, and we were trying to find ways for students to get that BSN. We were hearing from Jersey City Medical Center and other employers that they really wanted students with the BSN. When we spoke to students, they said, I know how to get to the Journal Square campus. I know when to drop my kids off. I know when my work schedule, my blah, blah. And so we said, let's do the bachelor's program here at Hudson. And it took vision and it took a lot of work, and I'm so, the result just stood in front of you. And that's, we can sit in an office and do articulation agreements, but when the students come and they say, because of that work that you did, my life is different, oh my God, just unbelievable. So it's been a few weeks, a couple months, and we got to know Darryl Jones really quickly because he said, I want to be at every meeting, I want to see everything that's going on, I want to learn everything that I can, and he never said, limit what you're giving me. I was like, well, I'm only going to send, he's like, no, send everything, and that's the passion, and that's who he is, and that's what he's bringing to Hudson. He's got a tremendous wealth of experience behind him. And he comes here, he's been observing, but he's been participating, and he wants to share his reflections on the first couple of months. And I'm so honored to have him as our colleague and to be working side by side with him. And it's just an incredible experience of having to tell him all this history and how we do things, and it's been wonderful. So looking forward to hearing your remarks.
Thank you for those kind words. And as a matter of fact, this is probably the first time I've actually been in the room with everybody, about 95% of the college. So it is indeed a pleasure to be here today. And I'm very excited about this particular role. As Eric had stated, I have been on the job almost 60 days now. And it's very common for leaders and managers, when they stand before you, they talk about their 90-day vision, what they've done within the first 90 days. So I would like to share some brief comments about what I've seen, what I've been doing over the past 60 days. And I was onboarded on November 12th of 2019. So in the words of the interim Associate Dean for English and ESL, Joe Caniglio, he says, I'm new to this job, I just got here. So Joe, we've got to work on taking that out of your vocabulary, okay? My name is Darryl Jones, and I do have the pleasure of serving as Associate Vice President of Academic Affairs. And my journey has been a long journey, working at historically black colleges and universities, working in 14 years in Catholic higher education, and spent the last 5 with Harrisburg Area Community College, affectionately known as HAC. And it's ironic that my new job is with HCCC, Hudson County Community College. So I'm oftentimes having to slow myself when I'm typing emails and other correspondences. So it is good to be here, and I want to endeavor to get us back on track and to share not 20 minutes of comments, not 15 minutes of comment, but some brief observations about what we have going on here at Hudson County Community College. And walking into today's environment, I had no idea what to expect. I did receive the agenda at the end of last week, and really concerned about, well, how are they going to dress for College Service Day? Coming from a world that faculty take every opportunity to dress comfortably, administrators take every opportunity to dress comfortably. So my wife said, Darryl, it's your first time with them, put on a jacket and make it happen. So walking into the room, this is a wonderful looking group of assembled people. And I am surprised at the energy and enthusiasm that exists. And to me, that is a direct factor of leadership. That is a direct indication of all of the great initiatives that are currently going on and how everyone is involved in those initiatives. As I indicated, I spent the last 4 years with Harrisburg Area Community College and working very closely to accelerated programs, accelerated degrees, working on stackable credits, working on developing a wellness center, working on this, working on that, trying to raise $14 million. And I'm here to share that you are positioned, we are positioned in a great opportunity, and we're moving at light speed ahead of other community colleges. So you should be very proud of all of the things that you have put into place, all of the things that you are a part of. And I say that to also say that it's hard work. It's not easy attending many, many meetings. And my first 60 days have really been characterized by meetings, both on campus and off campus. Yes, Eric, I have requested a lot of information, but I do know how to say no, and you'll find that out real soon if you haven't already done that. But it's really conference call. It's really participating in the student activities. It's really working with a very talented team of associate deans, working with each and every one of you all to ensure that I'm brought up to speed and able to add expertise where I can add it. So when I was asked to participate on the programs, I was almost pinned into a box of giving a 35-minute dissertation overview, and I didn't want to do that. And I said, hey, just give me 5 or 6 minutes. Actually, Eric said, Daryl, you can have 5 or 6 minutes of my allotted time. So I was very grateful for that. But just wanted to also reiterate that at the center of what we do, and I always like to refer to, is our mission. And I am so impressed that coming to this institution, the mission is visibly displayed all over the college. As you know from the elevators, it's on all of the branding material that we have. It's on the back of a business card, which I'm very, very proud of. Giles shared his business card with me. Guess what? The mission statement is on the back of the business card. But where I come from and where I will go is really all of the conversations will be centered around the mission of the institution and teaching excellence. All the conversations that I will have with faculty, and I've yet to meet all of the faculty, I have seen many faces, I have seen many names on email correspondences, but have yet been able to meet many of you. But soon and very soon, I will begin attending divisional meetings. I will host small group luncheons to get to know faculty better, and also roundtable talks. And all of those discussions will be centered around teaching excellence and the mission of Hudson County Community College. And I'm sure we all can recite the mission in unison, right? Yes. The mission is to promote high quality educational opportunities that promote student success, that are accessible and learning centered. So every opportunity that you can to display the mission in your day-to-day work, please feel free to do that. And as I mentioned earlier, the work that we do is very, very hard. It is not easy work. And one of the things that I took my free day yesterday is to really do some reading and some participating in what's happening around Martin Luther King Day. And I was very grateful to take that day and to provide an opportunity for me to rest and also reflect on his mission and also on his vision, and thinking about what's going on nationally, thinking about what's going on here in Journal Square. There's still a lot of work to be done. But as an institution, we're not being silent. As an institution, we're in the forefront of addressing or wrestling with the issue of injustices and inequity, particularly in higher education. And one of my most favorite quotes by Dr. King is that our day begins and ends when we stop thinking about and doing something that matters. So as you are going about your day-to-day activities, your life begins when you stop thinking about something that matters. And each of us should have something that we're passionate about that really, really matters. So I designed this very quick slide here, and I wanted to talk very, very briefly about how we are doing, or the approach that I have taken early on. And realizing that I come with many, many years of experience, I was very, very careful not to come in and be the know-it-all. I was mentored, I've been coached. It's like, no, your first several months, your semester should be one of your listening, you're learning, you're analyzing, you're not building a building, but you are building relationships. So day to day, everything that I do is predicated on listening. I've been in higher education for almost 30 years, and I love, love, love and know the impact of student stories. So every opportunity I get to ask you and to hear about our student stories, I want to hear those stories because it empowers all of us. Our Board of Trustees are inspired when they hear the great things that our students are doing, current students and our graduates. Our potential donors are inspired, and their hearts, their philanthropic heartstrings are touched when they learn about the great things that our students are doing. For each of us in the room, it is a true testimony of what we do and how we do it. When we see our graduates, when we hear from our students, it reassures us that we are doing exactly what we're hired to do. We're doing exactly what we should be doing. And learning each and every day. Being at a new institution, there's a lot to learn. There's the lingo, there's the abbreviations, there are the building names that I'm still asking, pay God, well, what's the C building again, and how do I get to that? The building I'm most comfortable with is Gabriel Library, where my office is located on the 6th floor, and also the A building. So everything else is a little fuzzy right now, but really learning about traditions, really learning about customs, and really learning about the shared values that we all have. What are our shared values and what are our shared expectations? As you've heard several times today, and I won't mention them all, there are a heap of initiatives that we're currently addressing. Everything from Achieving the Dream to AQ to workforce development and dozens of things in between. And the common thing is everything is predicated around student success. If we can all wrap our minds and wrap our language and wrap our thoughts around whatever we're doing, it is in the best interest of our students. And I'm quick to fire back and to push back or lean in when someone says it's not about the student. Everything that we do is predicated, and our first thought should be, is this decision best for our students? And when we think about that each and every day, at the end of the day, we feel very good about what we have accomplished. So analyzing the various initiatives that we have going on and really attempting to strategically think how I can insert my expertise. Not be the busybody, not be the know-it-all, but to say, hey, let's tweak, let's add, let's delete, in my experiences, ... And that really helps us all. And also building relationships. I am a talker. I enjoy being around people. And relationships matter and people matter. And our relationships must be built on trust. We have to be confident that each and every person can do their job and believe in that person. And when we are behind closed doors, with me in particular, it's okay to bang on the table. It's okay to say your favorite swear word. It's okay to do whatever you want to do. But when we're in a public forum like this, we're on one accord. We are of one mind and of one voice. But I believe that that voice is important so all sectors of the college are heard, and our president is very good about engaging everyone into that. So as I continue my day-to-day, I will begin again meeting with the faculty and really begin to shape a vision and set priorities about how we want to move forward and really immerse ourselves into the upcoming strategic plan and mission, really focusing on the current mission, teaching excellence, and refer to what I like to refer to as our roots, or what makes us great as a community college, and I refer to them as the 4 abilities. The ability of being accessible, affordable, capable, and also flexible. So accessibility, affordability, capability, and flexibility. If we can focus on those 4 abilities, we will continue to be a great institution. So before I take my seat, I do want to recognize all the associate deans in the room. So Burl Yearwood, could you please stand and be recognized for all the great things that you're doing with the STEM division? Associate Dean Kathy Sarangelo in the room. I haven't seen her, but I haven't seen everyone for Nursing and Health Sciences, Catherine. Interim Associate Dean for English and ESL, Joe Caniglia. Phil Capaccio, Humanities and Social Sciences. And Mr. Paul Dillon, Culinary Arts and Business Management. These associate deans, along with each of you in the room, are the lifeblood of the institution. The lifeblood of the institution, and everything that we do should be predicated on student success. So I'm going to shut up and sit down because I've talked too much, and I'm very excited to be here. And I wanted to tell Jao, but he had to depart, but it was refreshing to hear him refer to Paulo Freire. And for 12 years at the College of New Rochelle, The Pedagogy of the Oppressed was a seminal text that we used for the students in urban higher education. And it reminded me sitting there that that text, or the thinking around education should be freedom and not domination, is true even today and all the things that we do with our students. So I am elated to be here. I am elated to be a part of all of the things that are going on, and I thank you very much and enjoy the rest of your day.
Once again, I got nothing to say. I do want to recognize, even though she doesn't report to Daryl, I want to recognize, is she in the room, Pam Bondier-Potier. She may be working with students right now. She's doing an exceptional job with the new Student Success Academy and so many things to just move our students forward. So I'm going to ask Lisa Doherty to come up, VP of Enrollment and Student Services. Student Affairs.
Hi everyone, good morning. I am standing between you and lunch, so I will be very quick, but I am honored to recognize our new employees and colleagues and staff members. And as you can see from this morning, it's just a great time to be working here. There's a lot going on, so many positive things. So I hope that these folks are just as excited to be here as we are to have them here. So I'm going to go by department. If you could hold your applause, and if you're in the room, I know some people are not in the room because the college must still run, but if you're in the room, please do stand as I call your name. As someone who often has her last name mispronounced, I do empathize, and I apologize in advance if I mispronounce your name, but I am Doherty, not Doherty, just so you know. We're Daughtry. Sharon Daughtry and I always get, we get emails for each other. Okay, so from our Human Resources Department, let me introduce Anshuma Jain, Carmen McGuire, and Stephanie Sargent. They're all together back here. Welcome, and we're very happy to have you. There's a lot of work to be done and being done in human resources. So from our Information Technology Systems Department, Anthony Deschamps. Working IT people anywhere. From the library, lots of new colleagues in the library. We have Lisa Bogart, Carla Ibar, Christopher Chaveria, and Ernestina Vargas. Welcome. From Nursing and Health Sciences, we have Karen Hosick and Ruth Ann Kelman. And we just heard him speak, but let's welcome him once again. I know we are going to be great partners. Our Associate Vice President for Academic Affairs, Daryl Jones. From Business and Finance, just in time for budget season, we have Sharon Wilson Harriet. From the Center of Online Learning, Callie Martin. Another busy area. From Communications, a part-timer turned full-timer, Stephanie Sanchez. From Continuing Ed and Workforce Development, Naya Garrido. From Enrollment Services, I know they are back at the office, I'm pretty sure. Nakia Santos and Joycelyn Wong Castellano. Those are HCCC alumna, by the way, which make the best enrollment people. And finally, from the Grants Office, Connie Soletto Cafaro. So let's give one more round of applause to all of our new colleagues. Welcome to our great college.
If Daryl could remember the mission statement that quickly, I've got to be able to get Lisa's title down. I will never make that mistake again. So right before we break, very briefly, Joe Caniglia has been leading the efforts for quite some time with our Model UN program, and we'd like to present the latest video that highlights our students who are part of the Model UN team.
My name is Joe Caniglia. I am the advisor for the Model United Nations Club at Hudson County Community College in Jersey City, New Jersey. I am also the Associate Dean for the English and ESL Division. I am so excited this year to be bringing 6 students from Hudson County Community College to participate in the 2020 conference. This year our college has been selected to represent the Syria Arab Republic. I am so excited for our students. I look forward to seeing everyone soon. Thank you.
Hello, fellow delegates. My name is Tania Maradiaga, and I'm Vice President of the Model United Nations Club at Hudson County Community College. This year, our college will be representing the Syrian Arab Republic at the 66th Model United Nations Conference at Boston. I'm really excited to seeing you all at the conference.
Hi, I'm Swapna Fall. I am a student in Hudson County Community College. I am part of the Model United Nations Club. For the 2020 conference, our school is representing the Syria Arab Republic, and we are really looking forward to being there.
Hello, I am Cynthia Criollo. I am a member of the Model United Nations Club at Hudson County Community College. Our college this year will be representing Syrian Arab Republic, and I am part of the Economic and Financial Committee. I look forward to being at the conference.
Hello, fellow delegates. I'm Hassan Abdullah Farhat. I'm the Secretary of the Model United Nations Club at Hudson County Community College. This year we have been assigned to represent Syrian Arab Republic. I'm excited to be attending at the conference.
Hello everyone, my name is Abu Traore and I'm the president of the Model United Nations Club here at Hudson County Community College. This year's our club is representing the Syria Arab Republic, and we're also excited to be there.
Joe, where are you, Joe? So we have an early lunch today, and there's a reason for that, because the SOAR sessions, the academic master planning sessions, are going to happen at your lunch table. Immediately after you eat, we're going to stay there, and Jim Davey, our consultant, is going to bring us forward based on the data that we've brought in already from the work that we've done. This has been a fantastic morning. I'm inspired. I'm ready for the semester. I hope you are. Let's have lunch and let's do our academic master planning.